stay down, I get up. I'll go 12 rounds before I give up. Heavy is the crown, but I will not put it down. Word around this town, my time is now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody come on in. Guess what? It is time for the Own Your Now show. And it is Relationship Wednesday. So come on in, tell a friend, grab your cup, because it is time for us to sip it up. Good morning, Lady Yo. How are you?
Tracie, I'm fantastic. It's finally Wednesday.
It's finally Wednesday. I keep saying it. It's Hump Day Wednesday. And you know what? It's time for us to sip it up. We have a lot of amazing guests today. We have Dr. Kacy Shahid in the house, Serena, Muhammad, and Shannon T. If you all know anything about the tea and getting your hair right, your head right, COVID, we got to make sure we know what that's all about, as well as talking about our babies. Lady O, what's in your cup?
Today Tracie, I have coffee and cream. A lot of cream.
Well, you
How
know
about
what?
yourself?
Coffee and a lot of cream. You know what? I'm still trying to stay in vacation mode, but I'm out of it and I feel really relaxed. But I'm drinking tea and my cup says, God grant me serenity. And when I tell you I needed it today, you all just don't know. Let's talk to our owners. Everybody, what's in your cup? I see Alex is with us. Good morning, sir. Karen is here. Good morning, Karen. Cheryl, what's in your cup, Cheryl? I seen you been getting out there. I saw you last week out there at one of those restaurants with your sword. Bernice is here with us. I want to know, is your cups full or what? You know, the rain is come and the sun is shining and we're in the midst of spring. Everything is growing. But you know what? We got to find out what's in everybody's cup. So good morning. Good morning, Joan. I see Wendy's in the house. Sharma, you know, everybody's on break this week. Are your kids on break this week, Lady O?
She is on break from school.
Okay.
That doesn't mean she's on break from chores or her volunteerism, honey. Get that straight.
Yeah. Speaking of volunteerism, we got the food drive today.
We do. We have food drive from noon until 4, 12 to 2. Our volunteers put the food into the bags, and then from 2 to 4 we disperse the food. So if y'all want to come down to 2842 Washington Avenue, Central Baptist Church, come see your girl.
Come see your girl. Get those boxes out and get those to the families and everybody. You know, we got to take care of ourselves because this weather is shifting. Everybody's what they call it, the allergies are acting up. I see Bernie says she's drinking some electrolytes and Joan has her coffee in her cup. We need to know exactly what it is that everybody's drinking. Hey, Nafisa's back with us. Hey, Nafisa. It says that Yolanda, you're echoing a little bit. We're gonna fix that. We'll try to pop out and come back in. Let's talk about let's jump right into our affirmation words of the day. You want to do that and come back, or do you want to jump right into your birthday celebrations? You tell me.
Well, you know what? I'll jump out and I'll try to come back in.
All right. That sounds like a plan. All right, y'all know we know that sometimes we have those technical difficulties, but we work them out and we do it together. I want to talk about our Own Your Now word of the day. Our Own Your Now word of the day, ironically, is listen. And today we've had some technical difficulties with everybody making sure that they can hear one another. And we want to make sure that we get that right. But while we're listening, I see everybody still putting things in their chat. Hey, Erica, Sharma says she's drinking coffee with that hazelnut creamer. I love that. What is your favorite type of restaurant where you go get your coffee from, or a coffee shop? Let's shout out the coffee shops, everybody, because I know I love me some Starbucks, and I also I love some of our locals as well, and I love the Teatopia. But you all let us know, what are some of your favorite coffee shops, and where do you go get your coffee? Or are you all making it at home? Do you have the Keurig? What are you doing with that? So our word of the day is actually I say it all the time, it's listen. And when I say that, I'm saying this because sometimes people say, you're not hearing me though. Y'all ever heard somebody say, you're not hearing me though? I really want you all to listen to yourselves. in taking my vacation break, I knew the value. I realized the value of just being still and listen. So I want to jump into our affirmation song of the day. Yolanda will be back with us. She's working on her audio. But until then, I have you all here with us. And so we're going to all take some deep breaths and breathe, right? So everybody, take some deep breaths in and out. And we're going to take some breaths.
To step back and clear your mind. Yeah, everyone will be fine.
All you need to know is breathe. Take some deep breaths in.
All you gotta breathe.
Again. Stretch.
I hope that you're listening. There's only one thing you know you gotta do. That's
Stretch.
breathe.
Breathe. Woo. Are you listening to yourselves? Everybody put breathe in the chat. Good morning, Rebecca. All right, I need you all to center yourselves. Stretch it out. Are you all listening? Woo. All you got to do is breathe, all right? One of the things that we were thinking about today when we thought about our guests is the value of being able to breathe. And, you know, we have some amazing guests that are coming on today. So you all make sure you want to share this information. We literally have Serena Muhammad. She's in the house and she's going to talk about COVID. She is part of the regional response team. So we're going to make sure that we have her on. We also have Dr. Kacy Shahid. You guys do want to share because she has a book that's come out. And then Shannon T, she talks about natural hair. But you know what? We still got to do our birthday shout outs. So I'm not going to leave anybody out. You all know Monday through Friday we're here and we're working through it. So I'm glad you all are listening and you're staying connected. We're going to bring Lady Yo back up and so she can give us some birthday shout outs. Hey, Lady Yo, how's it going?
I'm back. Not gonna let it.
It's not going to let it deter you. You know, we keep going. I hear a little feedback. You're going in and out. Sometimes it's the space that we're in, but we're taking some deep breaths. Tell us, do we have birthday shout outs today?
We absolutely. We have Rebecca Brand, Rhea Lynn, Deshaun Brown, and we have Flora that all have birthday. Also have Vibrant going out to the whole. She was our guest at the book. I Kinfolk. She's number one on Amazon. Six category. So good.
All right. So you all heard some of those birthday shout outs. It sounds like we're still having a little bit of technical difficulties. Okay. But you know what? We're going to pop her out and we're going to bring her back up. We won't stop, but we will continue to rock it out. Let's bring up our first guest. Our first guest today, she does all things when it comes to hair. One of the things that she says is it's all about the feeling. She is a cosmetologist. She's a stylist, and her name is Shannon T. And she's going to tell us all things about hair. Let's bring her right in. Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing, Tracy?
I am doing well. I'm struggling because my partner's not here, but you know what? We keep it going because that's what we do here on the On Your Now show. Tell us, sister, what is in your cup?
Well, I'm drinking every morning my cup of classic coffee. My macchiato creamer and a little cinnamon.
Well, you know, I know that everybody has their favorite stylists and their favorite styles. What made you say yes to being a stylist? Because you've been doing this for a minute, right?
I have 16 years.
Wow. When did you start?
I really started like sixth grade. You know,
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Growing up in the 80s.
So wait a minute, in the 80s, what styles were they doing then? Was it the freeze? Was it the little, what was going on?
It was you see, I still love my little old school ponytail. There was a little ponytail, but it would be like a freeze up to this ponytail.
Yes,
Absolutely the swoop stack with the little spray parts on there. Like I just love being a lady, like being able to play in hair, makeup. I grew up watching my mom get dressed every day, like handing her eyeliner, handing her mascara. So I just always was so fascinated by being a lady. Like watching her get ready was like everything to me growing up.
It's interesting that you say that, because I grew up with that space of watching my mom grow up and putting on her makeup and all of those different things. And now this is something that you love to do when it comes to girls. Talk to us about girls and women when they come in, because I was looking at all of the beautiful styles on your page. How does it feel to be able to really just make people feel pretty?
That feels amazing. I mean, that right there, to see a person will come in and they'll be like in a mental place of in between happiness and sadness. And I'm sorry. And it's just, I had a lady that came to me and she suffered from lupus and her hair was in patches and she was tired of being in a wig. So, that she was recommended to me and I invented these clip-ins. And I had never done anything like this before, but, in my head, I'm like, okay, this seemed like this will really work. Well, when I got back to the salon with the clip-ins and the lady came in to get the service, it literally took me, Tracie, 5 minutes to put those clip-ins in this lady's hair.
Wow.
But this had changed this lady's being, not just her feeling pretty. Like this lady, she started crying when I turned her around and she saw her hair and how natural it looked and how fast it got done and how inexpensive it was. She started crying. So I froze because I really didn't know if she was crying because she liked it or not, but she cried tears of joy. The other lady in the salon that was getting her hair done by the stylist, she started crying. The hairstylist, she started crying. They all over my client, hugging her. They went down like dominoes. So when I saw like that feeling that I gave that lady, I knew right then and there, it is not about a service, because people can get a service anywhere. People come to you in return for a good feeling. And you just have to remember that and hold on to it.
I love that you say that, because as women, there's the song, I'm Not My Hair, but the hair doesn't define us, but the different styles. I love trying different styles. And I see the value of how that can make you feel, especially when you've had trauma when it comes to hair. I know I had the press and comb trauma, the perm trauma, but you also love working with natural styles. Tell us about your specialties.
I love natural hair because it is such a challenge. You really have to get into the person's hair texture, what concoctions really work for them. And with natural hair, our hair can be really thick, dry, and coarse, and it's hard to manage on our own. That's why so many people turn to the relaxer, turn to the Jerry curl, you turn to the chemical, because it breaks your hair down and allows you to be able to control it a little easier. Well, I decided that I wanted to come up with products for natural hair that would make it more manageable. So I came out with this product line called Just in Time. So now I have a whole bunch of clients coming to me with their natural hair that is easier to maintain with these products. And it just gives me like a lot more of options and a wider range to work with, so I'm not really stuck in a box.
Yolanda, she said she has a hairline that talks about that helps with the natural hair when it's detangled and all of that kind of stuff, and how important that is for our women when it comes to their hair. This is another thing that I think about when I think about us and hair. The pandemic has shifted everything. Everybody needs protective styles. Yes. Talk to us about how that has shifted for your business.
I always tell people, like, the pandemic really helped my business. It really made me have to get creative even more creative, because after you get, you've been in the field for a while, you can get kind of comfortable and complacent, but when that COVID hit, that pandemic hit, it really put like a little fire under my feet, and I had to get creative. I started a garden. The garden led to my products. I have these natural products that I grew in the garden in my products. So it really made me have to get into my marketing more, my sales more. You have to get really creative. And I really am thankful for the pandemic, because it really, pushed me back out there, because I was getting a little comfortable, and you don't want to do that.
I'm actually going to be speaking next, in a couple of weeks, regarding getting out of your comfort zone. I just popped back in. So tell me, have you talked about your book?
I have not talked about my book.
Well, tell us about your book, because that's how we first met. We were both on a panel discussing entrepreneurship, discussing how we became who we are today. Tell us the title of your book, and tell us what the content contains.
The name of the book is called Manners Over Money. And the whole point of that book is it's targeted for everybody. But I have a son, and it is really important to me that we stay grounded in our mannerisms, so I really just wanted to connect with people and let them know about how your manners can take you places that money cannot. So you don't want to get caught up in the money. As long as you have that respect level and people respect you, that is your power, and that will bring you money. So I just wanted to write a book that showed you where I came from, how I grew up with my mannerisms in the 80s, and how my manners took me to all of these different salons, working with different clients and people and learning people, and really just getting an understanding of customer service and where we're falling short of it. And when we fall short of customer service, it's just mannerisms. And when we start losing that mannerisms is respect. And when we start losing that respect, we start losing that power. And when we lose that power, we lose ourselves. And it's so important to me that you, like y'all say, own your now, and you stay grounded and stand in your truth, because you can get so caught up in what's going on around you and lose yourself. And I never want that to happen with my son, or the friends he choose, or when he get ready to do business. You have to be ready, like soon as you walk out that door. So that's what my book talks about. It talks about, growing up in the creek, in the neighborhood, playing in the creek, getting on a punishment from the neighborhood, because where I grew up, anybody could put you on a punishment in the neighborhood.
Yes, they could. Yes, they could. I want, everybody's asking, they want the name, they want the products. Where can they get the products? Where can they get the book? You say people are not, we have to treat people like people and not numbers. She knows what customer service looks like. So tell us, sister, how can they get your information?
You can always follow me on all of my social medias under Shannon Tiana. The book Manners Over Money, it's available on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. I always have all of my supplies with me at the salon. I work at Therapy Beauty Lounge. So I'm like, old school. I'm Master P. I keep my stuff in the trunk all the time.
I love it. You are your brand. And I love that about you. When I first met you, I said, she is in the beauty business, and she is her own brand, because you stay put together. And she hasn't probably told y'all, she is an exercise guru also.
She got all the skills.
Now look, it's not going to stay like this your whole life. You're going to have to do something. So yes, I do. I'm not like super fit, but I try to stay in shape, because like you said, Miss Yolanda, I am my brand. And when I'm walking around, people should know like what type of business I'm in, and they should actually gravitate to me. I shouldn't have to walk up to people still. I've been in the business 16 years. I shouldn't have to walk up people. By now, I want people to walk up to me, and they want to know me and what I'm doing. That's when you know that it's working.
Absolutely.
Well,
Girl, it's working. It's working, girl. It's working.
So tell us your affirmation word of the day.
My affirmation word of the day would be drive. You know, that goes so many different ways. You know, you have to keep that drive if you want to get to the next level. Now, it might not work the first time. You might get booted back. I done been knocked down so many times, but because I have that drive, that determination, I just get up, do it again. It's not going to work. Get up, do it again. So you have to have that. And that is something that is just within you. Nobody, you can't read about that. You can't go by that. That is nothing but self.
Yes.
Okay. And God.
Yes, me, myself, and I. Shannon, we thank you. We worked through our kinks and we are able to get that message out to everybody. You all make sure you follow her. She's going to put all her information in the chat, and we're going to stay ready. We're going to get ready and we're going to stay ready. And you know what? If y'all need to get them edges ready, y'all see her. She ready. Call the girl. Hit her up on Instagram and Facebook. Shannon T, we thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I love y'all.
Lady Yo, we got it together.
Janet, thank you all. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. You know, sometimes in certain parts of the house, the internet just decides to give out. But you know what? If you all would just hang in there with me, I want to say my birthday shout outs again because that's important to me. And I want people to know that I'm celebrating them. So I'm going to repeat them. Rebecca Heidelbrand, Risa Lynn, Deshaun Brown Sr., and Floyd Pageant have birthdays today. And vibrant vibes to Nicole Walters. She debuted her book, Aisha and the Kinfolk. It was #1 on Amazon in 6 different areas. And I also want to give a vibrant vibe out to Mark and Amy at the West County Mall Macy's. They are awesome. They said they're going to become owners. So I hope they're looking at the show this morning. Hey, y'all.
And just in case they're listening, do we have any?
Just in case they're listening. He is a young man. His name is Tyler Lepley. He is the young man that plays on Have and Have Nots. And he's the bodyguard on P-Valley.
Okay. P-Valley. I have never watched either one of those. Please, you all don't judge me. I don't have a lot of time for television, but
I don't either.
You all know who he is. Continue to shout him out. We're going to keep shouting everybody else out. Lynn Friend says happy AK anniversary to her. Yes, happy AK anniversary to you. Anytime you all have shout outs, we want to know. So that's what it's all about. Well, you know, we're going to keep it going, y'all. We got Serena still in the house, and we have Dr. Kacy Shahid. She's on break, but you know what? We're going to get things started. The work of educating children is everyone's business, which describes her hard work, not hard work. That's Dr. Kacy Shahid. She wrote a book called In Know Your Place, Run Your Race. Dr. Kacy Shahid provides meaningful nuggets for educators who are willing to be resilient leaders. She's determined to be an example of courageous and fearless leadership by sustaining the values and commitment to excellence and encouraging other educators to do the same. Dr. Kacy Shahid transitioned from substitute teacher to principal in a 6-year period, and she realized that educating and inspiring and coaching young people was her mission and her calling. Let me tell you all something. She also resolved not to allow a childhood impeded by homelessness and drug abuse to deter her from pursuing her purpose. You know what? She has a journey. Unmute yourself and let everybody know what this is all about, sister, because I've been knowing her for a long time and she does the work. Good morning, Dr. Kacy Shahid.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited to be here. I hope my sound is right because I've been patiently waiting. Got a lot to say.
All right. Well, we're going to get it started. Tell us what gets you started. What's in your cup?
Oh, this big old cup right here is nothing but water. So I'm definitely challenging myself to drink more water.
But you know what? We're not going to say it's nothing but water. It is water because it sustains us. So you're starting your day out right.
It's probably that STL water. You know, Shameen talking about that STL water.
And I want to share this quote, though. It says the purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows of opportunity. So the cup is representative of how I'm feeling as well.
And you know what? You're already sharing nuggets. Tell us about this book, sis, because I'm so excited. I remember she came on last year and she said, it's coming out. And I said, well, when it come out, come on back.
Yes.
Tell us about it. Why?
So let's just say it was a long pregnancy, because I was pregnant with this book for over 20 years. I think it dropped in my spirit many years ago, but I let fear, and I was worried. I don't know if you all know about educators, but we are all knowing. We know everything about everything. We're so smart. And so I was afraid that if I wrote this book, that I would be critiqued and judged by my colleagues. And what if I had an error? And believe it or not, that stopped me from writing the book. I also believe, like, what do I have to say? During COVID, I said, you will finish this book, and you will face your biggest fear, which is the judgment of others. And I know I'm not by myself. Nope. Doctor and all, accomplished a lot and still was having this, fear of what other people might think or say. But I wrote the book because I felt like, if I have these concerns about myself, I know other educators, and right now we're all educators because we're all virtually teaching our young people or the people that's in our communities. But the courage came because I realized that I thought about my daughter who runs track. And every time they would be in a race, the coach would say, drive phase. And he would say, run your race. And I began to, during COVID, I had a lot of time to think, and I said, run your race. Run your race, like, do you. And it's something we've always heard. That meant no matter what you wrote in your book, as long as you knew the mission and the calling, just be a vessel and let it go forth. And so don't worry about the fear. Don't worry about the other runners. When you're running a race, you can't look behind you, to the side of you, because you'll lose your focus. So you had to stay focused. So I really thought about racing. And even though I'm not a runner, I think I could have been in another lifetime. But anyway, I began to think, like, this is what life is about. It is about, really honing in on your skills and talents. And I think Malcolm X said it best when he talked about having knowledge of self, because that means I know where my strengths and talents lie. And I build upon those. This book are those nuggets that I've, those mistakes, those success that I've experienced over the years. And I wanted to share them with some of my millennial colleagues, my novice teachers and leaders, now for parents who are at home, homeschooling or virtually young people, because education is everybody's business. It doesn't just belong to the educators. So it is about everybody, really looking at. So educators, what I say about us, we're kind of weird in the sense that we're all knowing. That means we don't make mistakes. So when I present Dr. Kacy Shahid to my students, right? Well, when do I tell them the real stuff? Like, when do I ever have a moment to take the mask off and be a human being? So I go to the grocery store and kids will say, I saw you at the store.
I want to stop you, because the one thing that I know for sure about you is you're very transparent. That you don't just, like, some principals, you never see them. You're out in the hallways, you're doing the work, you work with your staff, you work with the community. And I think that's the biggest piece, as well as being a mother. How important is it for you to make sure that you cover all those, because you don't run a race, but your daughters, they be running the races, and we know about that. But how important is it for educators to show what transparency looks like?
It's critical. How do you make a difference in the lives of others if we really don't know who you are? So you only show us the good part. Like, you only show us, and I'm not saying that everyone has to share all of their business, because you do have to be led by the Spirit, and you have to be led by God to share, certain parts of your story. For me, God said it wasn't about you. Your story was not for you. So the story of homelessness, and from the sexual abuse to the drug addiction in your family, is not for you. And so to the family members and the friends who say, why you tell all your business? Or to the ones who say, well, why you ain't share enough? It was my story to share, because I wanted people to see a real person, and not the title doctor, not the title principal. Let me add cute principal, but I didn't want them to see just that. Better than Beyonce Prince. But I wanted them to see a real, genuine person, and to know that, all of the obstacles and things that I went through, and where I may have seen them as obstacles, they were really stepping stones to take me to the next level of my journey, because God was in the midst of it all. I'm just really a vessel, and I wanted to be that. And I kind of use myself as an example. How do I lead as a principal and talk about students' traumatic experiences when I wasn't willing to share my own? So I put it out there, and I didn't go into detail because the book is not just about me personally, but I do share some of those traumatic experiences. So to me, it's critical and it's vital to the growth of our young people to be transparent as educators if we expect to make the difference in the lives of our kids. They know they can see your stuff before you even say it, though. They know something wrong with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you have the book, but you also have a podcast coming out.
I do. The podcast.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I said in the book, I shared some things. And after I wrote the book, it was one, you have a moment, I'm like, I should have said more. Or I could have elaborated more on this thing right here. And then I was thinking, well, do I write another book? But I use my creativity again during this COVID. I'm in spaces where educators are not. I'm in spaces with how to monetize your podcast. I'm thinking, why am I here? I have no interest in starting a podcast, definitely not monetizing it. But I began to hear from God, and God said, again, it's not about you, but you can elaborate and share more of your story through this podcast. It is called Speak Up, Your Voice Matters. I'm excited about it. It'll be an opportunity for me to elaborate and also to hear from other thought leaders in the region to share their stories, because sometimes we just need a platform. So whether it be students, whether it be teachers, whether it be parents, I want to create a platform for the people in our community, similar to this, but where we can, kind of just share and talk. And I really started it because during this COVID, I missed my students so much. I could not correspond on social media because of the, restrictions. But I said I could create a podcast. They can get on the podcast, about the students. And so it's going to be a family affair. It is a work in progress. I can't wait to get back on and talk about it. I'm so out of my comfort zone, Yolanda. I think you talked about it earlier. I'm out of my comfort zone with this. So just keep me in your prayers. People think, you'll be great. I'm thinking I'm doing this scared, you all.
No, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yes.
Everybody says, Tiffany says she really thinks she a comedian and dancer and a singer. Let me tell y'all something. This sister is a triple threat. She is the principal at Visual Performing Arts, the best high school, I think, because I graduated from there. I've walked the halls. I've seen her work. No, Tiffany, she is a comedian. She is a dancer. She is a singer. She is a principal, a writer, and soon to be podcast. Tell us, how can they find your book?
You can find my book at drkacyshahid.com. It's the website that you showed earlier. It's also my Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter handle. And so I appreciate you all in advance. I've had so much support, more than I could even imagine with the book. I don't brag about it. I don't even take it lightly. I didn't write the book with the intentions of selling. And I know that sounds so bizarre. I wrote it with the intent of really sharing the message. Tracie, I felt like you, because I think a lot of times you do stuff and you're like, I'm not even trying real hard, but somehow the spirit and the inner, it just evolves. Because if I could share this, I was at a conference with you some years back. With you. I went to the conference. Tracie's there. I think it's she and her daughter. She has a line of people, you all. And they're trying to buy her books. Tracie is just like not even focused on selling. She's talking about her products and the line is growing. And so I jump in and I help her. She gives me her swipe card, cash. She's just so reckless because she's not even focused on selling. I love it. I was her servant on that day and I assisted her. And it was there that I really had this vision of, because it was a conference for educators. So Tracie, I thank you for letting me be of assistance to you. But I left and I thought, Tracie was so not focused on those sales. But when I say she had the longest line of people and her session was standing room only, it was effortless.
No, but listen, we're going to stop. We're stopping right now. This is about you, and it's about making sure that we sow seeds into one another. You sow seeds into me. We did that thing. We were in a whole nother state, but this is a national, international level for everybody to realize the value of when you step out of your comfort zone, this is how you grow. And that's what we want to make sure we focus on with you, Dr. Shahid, because you said, I'm going to do it, and you did it. So that's it. Boom. That's all it takes. Shout out.
We are so proud of you, Dr. Shahid. You have so much great information.
Your affirmation word of the day, because we know we got Serena Muhammad coming in, but we want to have you come back. We can't wait for your podcast. Yolanda loves an exclusive. So you better come back and tell us about it.
My word is courage. So the thing that you are afraid of, the thing that has you most nervous or fearful of, I say, challenge yourself and go for it. And don't worry about what the naysayers are going to talk anyway. the people who you think will support you probably won't. So I say go forth and go after that thing that you are most fearful of, because God is in the midst of it and God is in the details.
Yes.
So courage is my word.
Loretta
Amen.
said, amen. Amen. We thank you so much. Can't wait to see you. I need some pancakes and some coffee. Okay. See you soon.
Thank you all.
Enjoy your break. Oh my gosh. We're going to keep this thing going. She gave us so many nuggets. So many
Absolutely.
nuggets. But people have got to go and support her. I don't care what people say about books. That's the only way that we do this, is we support things. Knowledge is power. And that's what this is all about. Are we ready for our next guest? You all need to share this information.
Absolutely.
Guests coming in. And when I tell you that you need this information, you're going to be able to share this information with others. So share now. Also, we're on YouTube. If you all need to replay it for your family, please do. Serena Muhammad. She leads the initiatives that focus on alleviating the social, educational, and health inequities that keep people in places from reaching their full potential. As the managing director of the COVID-19 Regional Response Team, Serena uses her expertise in systems building to strengthen the crisis response infrastructure in St. Louis region. You know what? She's been the backbone of everything that focuses on racial equity, authentic community engagement, and cross-sector collaborations. We're going to bring her in because she also serves as the founding board chair of Build Missouri Health, an affiliated nonprofit of Missouri Foundation of Health. And she's the member of the board of directors for the City of St. Louis Board of Health and Hospitals. She is the truth, and she has the information that we need. So we're going to bring her right up. Good morning, Serena.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, we're going to get started with what's in your cup.
Water.
SCL water.
Water for the win today. Water for the win. Absolutely. So tell us about what you have going on now.
So one thing that I think is interesting is you never know the dynamics of putting a group together. And everyone who's talked before has talked about what they were able to achieve as a result of the pandemic, causing them to slow down, to push, to be creative, to think about things and complete tasks that they might have put on hold. One of the things that we're looking at is we have to start thinking about how we can be well and thrive in the era of the pandemic. We don't know what turns COVID is going to take. We can't take the posture that we're just going to wait for it to end. We have to really start thinking about what we can do to be well in the conditions that we're currently in. So the regional response team is partnering with Prepare STL, and we're sponsoring events to really focus on community wellness, specifically focused on those folks who have been disproportionately impacted by COVID. So those are Black and Brown communities who are hit especially hard. We're doing panels, we're doing peer-to-peer outreach, and I'll talk a little bit more about those two options. But we want to let people know that there's a support network out there are resources out there, and there are ways to really take care of your health and wellness in this era that are natural, as well as if you're considering whether or not you want to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Our position is we don't tell anyone what to do, but we support an informed choice. We give you information, and we support you in determining what's best for you and your loved ones.
Now, I know you and Tracie have an event coming up. Talk to us about the event.
So one of the events that we've been doing are panels, question and answer panels, because we understand there's a lot of misinformation out there about the vaccines. It's a very big decision, and we don't want people to take it lightly. So we've organized panels to bring in different experts to talk about different elements of decision-making related to the COVID-19 vaccine. Next week, in honor of Women's History Month, we'll have a panel focused on women's health. And because we're focused on wellness, we understand that COVID doesn't just impact us physically, it impacts us mentally, spiritually, and economically. So we have panelists who are going to speak to all of those different elements and be able to answer questions from folks about the issues that are concerning them. And our primary goal is that people walk away with ideas on how they can be well in all of those domains, and that they have the information and support that they need to make a choice that's best for them and their loved ones.
I love it that you talk about we aren't making these choices for you, but we need to educate you, and we have to get that message out. So when this happens, how can everybody connect to make sure that they are on that call so they can hear everything and see everything and get the knowledge to be able to spread it in our communities?
So we've been sharing some information about the event on our social media platforms, on our website. There's a flyer that's circulating where you can register. Of course, it's a free event. We'll have it broadcast on YouTube so that folks can follow it that way as well. We have a pretty powerful panel. Tracie McGee is moderating, so you know that she's going to keep everything moving in a positive and encouraging direction. We have Dr. Ebony Carter, who's an OBGYN. We thought that it was important that there were a lot of questions in the community about how the vaccine impacts maternal and child health, and she'll be able to respond to some of those types of questions. We have Leslie K. Gill, who's the president of Run for Women, to talk about economic mobility. Brittany True-Kelman, for folks who know Jamah Birth Village, she's a lead midwife, and we'll be talking about reproductive health. And then Shavonna Spratt, who's a creator of a podcast that actually talks about issues that are happening in the community, and she brings that lived experience about what it really means to experience working through this pandemic. So all of those different points of view will be on the panel, and we encourage people to come and ask questions. You can submit questions in advance when you register, but it's important that we create this safe space for us to really get our questions answered.
We're definitely going to have the links on our website, and we want to make sure that everybody shares this information. It's really critical. You also speak about community health champions. I think that's really important. Please talk to our owners about it.
Yeah, so one of the things that we know is that people don't want to be told what to do, and you have to respect people's agency, and they listen to trusted messengers. So no matter how much expertise you have or how many degrees you have behind your name, if a person doesn't know you, they're less likely to listen to you and take your advice. So we built upon that by creating these networks of peer educators. So these are community members who will go through a training and orientation to be able to talk about the vaccine with their network. So it's you talking to 10 of your friends, 10 more of your friends in small group conversations with the support of a vaccine education expert so that you don't have to get into the weeds on really technical stuff. But the idea is when we have these conversations in community, we can really learn from one another in a different way. We can have a safe conversation, a safe space that's non-judgmental, and we can make sure that people are being heard and that we're responsive to one another. So it's important to us in the regional response team at Prepare STL that we really have this focus on listening to the community and facilitating these community conversations. We're in the process now of recruiting community health champions. So anyone who's interested in hosting one of these conversations, we pay a $200 stipend. And the expectation is that you have this conversation with 2 groups of 10 people. And we'll provide all the training and support and materials that you need to do that. We're in the recruitment phase now. So if you're interested, please sign up, share the information, and we'll actually start to host these conversations in early April.
Awesome. I don't think they heard you all. You said that literally you can earn $200. You all hear this, people? I don't think they heard you.
$200
to become a community health champion. You know, for me, I'm sure that Lady O feels the same way. It's really about the community coming together. It's not about the money, it's about the message. I mean, the $200 is a perk, but literally it's about making sure that everybody gets these resources. So we're going to continue to share those. And we thank you for everything. You all have been out here every time the Wellness Mobile goes out and we give out masks. Prepare STL has given us those masks. We've worked with Dr. Punch, and you all are getting all of the resources out there. So we will share this information on our website. Any other messages that you want to make sure that people get out? Because we know that things are shifting, and if you all have questions, they need to know where to find them.
So the other message that I want to reinforce is even as we are introduced to the vaccine, it is very important that we keep up with the mitigation strategies that have helped us all along. Keep washing your hands, keep social distancing, keep wearing a mask, do all of those things to keep you and yourself and your loved ones safe. We can't rely on one thing, and really focus on building your immune health. That means eating well, exercising, getting sunlight, all of those things that you can do to stay well. It's not just about a vaccine or a point-in-time intervention. We really have to get serious about protecting our health and strengthening our immune systems.
Absolutely.
Well, we
Absolutely.
appreciate you. We know that your schedule is really busy, but you're all about community, and you said yes to us. We'll be saying yes to you. We'll be listening in, and everybody come and we'll make sure that we get this message out here.
Yes.
Please tell us, what is your affirmation word for today?
Power.
Yes.
I think sometimes we give up our power, or we don't acknowledge that we have power. And I think it's important for us not to be afraid to use our power for good.
Love it.
Absolutely. She said, don't be afraid to use your power, especially using your power for good. We thank you so much for coming on, sticking with us. Our technology has cleared up, so we get the message out there. There's power in not giving up, and we thank you
Yes.
for it. Thank you so much, Serena, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo! I got something out of today. I got a lot out of today. What did you get out of today, Lady O?
You know what? Both all the ladies talked about power. You know, we have power, and she said, use your power for the good. So whatever power you have, and it doesn't have to be a superpower. You know, everyone always says, what's your superpower? Just the power you have, the power of influence, the power you have in sharing information. Do that. Use your power for the good.
Yes, yes, yes. What is your affirmation word for today?
My affirmation word for today is push. Pray until something happens. Honey, I had to pray today. This internet was giving me the blues, but let me tell you something. I grew up on the blues. So I prayed and I kept pushing and I came back. So I'm so glad everyone stayed with us. Thank you so much. I'm always so appreciative for our owners.
You know what? You're right. We have to push through, and we know that technology issues are going to happen. We've seen it all over, but we don't give up. We don't give up on each other, and we won't give up on our owners. We won't give up on our communities. And I love that the people that have come into this platform, it's a I want to call it a safe space. You know, we hold the space for you all to share this information. So we're going to keep pushing through. Lady O, I know. Tell them once again, where will you be today? From 12
From 12 to 4, I will be at Central Baptist Church representing the owners in the Own Your Now show. We are giving out 300 boxes of food, 150 gallons of milk, and 300 bags of snacks. That will be at 2842 Washington Avenue. And last week, I had an owner come by. Toot, toot, I'm an owner. They kept rolling, but they came by and said hello. So if you're in the area, come by and say hello. If you want to volunteer and help, you're welcome to help.
And if you know that there's someone that needs some packages, you can get up to 10 boxes, right? What's everything that's in there?
So in each box, there's 5 complete frozen meals, and then you get your milk according to how many meals you take. And also in the snack bag, there's fresh fruit, apples, oranges, bananas. Sometimes we have grits, oatmeal, raisins. We had cucumbers last week. We have all types of good snacks, and you get a number of snacks according to your meals that you take also. So you might get 5 bags of snacks and 10 boxes of food. So, I mean, it is an awesome opportunity to help yourself. And if you don't need it, find someone who does, because, you know, we all know the times we're living in. So we're just glad to be a helping hand.
Thank you for that. So everybody, I hope that you all enjoyed our show today. It's about making sure that you have the drive to keep going. That's something that Shannon talked about, that we don't give up on each other. You know, they say hustle, the STL is in the hustle, but it's also about us being courageous enough to walk the walk, as well as being intentional, because when you're intentional, then you know that there is power in the things that we share with one another. This relational building that we are doing here, it's about us all rising up, but we have to have the knowledge and the power to understand the value of when we rise up together. There's this enrichment in our spirit, our mind, our bodies, and our souls to see what happiness looks like. But we can't do that if we don't make sure we take care of ourselves and our community. Support one another, get the information out, share our information, see what growth looks like when we know that we have a choice. We have a choice. Make sure that you're loyal to your community, to yourself, to your family and friends. Make sure you have a plan to get that COVID shot if that's your choice. If not, make sure that you have the knowledge and the power. Keep pushing through, and we will make sure that we see you every single day Monday through Friday on the Own Your Now show. If you decide to go outside, y'all know what I always tell y'all, please, please, please wear your mask. But if you should decide to stay inside, that's okay too. Just remember to keep sipping and shelter in place. And we will see you all same time, same space on the Own Your Now show. Goodbye, everybody.